Thank you for joining us this evening. The virtual public meeting will begin at 5 p.m. Slide 1. Welcome to the virtual public meeting for the State Road A1A South Ocean Boulevard Resurfacing Project. The project will take place on State Road A1A South Ocean Boulevard from south of Grand Court to south of Linton Boulevard in the town of Highland Beach and the city of Delray Beach in Palm Beach County, Florida. The financial project ID number is 444477-1-52-01, and today is Thursday, March 7th, 2024. Slide 2. My name is Melissa Redling, Community Outreach Specialist, and I will be your moderator and presenter for tonight's virtual public meeting. A brief presentation followed by a question and answer session will be held from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and again from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Please note, questions and comments may be submitted via the online chat for the project team to address directly. Slide 3. The Florida Department of Transportation complies with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. For questions or concerns, you may contact either Title VI District Coordinator Sharon Singh Hayan at 954-777-4190 or sharon.singhhayan@dot.state.fl.us or the State Coordinator, Stefan Kulikowski, at 850-414-4742 or stefan.kulikowski@dot.state.fl.us. Slide 4. This virtual public meeting is being recorded. All attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting. If you experience technical difficulties, please contact GoToWebinar support at 1-833-851-8340. At the end of the presentation, attendees are also welcome to submit any questions or comments using the GoToWebinar question panel, and a member of the team will respond during the question and answer portion. Click the Raise Hand button on the control panel to request to speak and unmute your microphone when your name is called. Slide 5. We are using the GoToWebinar meeting platform. There is no cost to the public to log in or dial in to participate in the meeting. Questions and comments can be entered into the chat feature for the team to address directly. Please click the hand icon during the question and answer session to speak. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the FDOT District 4 website. Slide 6. It is my pleasure to introduce the project team. We have Ariam Galindo, PE, Construction Project Manager, FDOT District 4, Palm Beach Operations. Annabelle Espinosa, EI, Project Administrator with American Engineering Group. Ramon Arosomena, PE, Senior Project Engineer, American Engineering Group. Brad Salisbury, PE, Design Project Manager and Engineer of Record, FDOT Design, District 4. Slide 7. The Florida Department Mission Statement. The Department will provide a safe transportation system that ensures the mobility of people and goods, enhances economic prosperity, and preserves the quality of our environment and communities. Slide 8. The limits of this project include State Road A1A, South Ocean Boulevard, from south of Grand Court to south of Linton Boulevard in the town of Highland Beach and the city of Delray Beach. Slide 9. The purpose of this project is to mill and resurface the existing roadway, widen the roadway in each direction to provide 5-foot bicycle lanes, modify swales to improve drainage, and upgrade signage and pavement markings to meet current standards. The length of the project is 3.349 miles. The contractor is the Stout Group, LLC. The construction start date is April 3rd, 2024. The estimated contract cost is $8.3 million. The estimated completion date is summer 2025, and contract time is 353 calendar days, which do not include weather and holidays. Slide 10. Roadway improvements under this contract include mill and resurface State Road A1A, South Ocean Boulevard, from south of Grand Court to south of Linton Boulevard, widen the roadway in each direction to provide 5-foot bicycle lanes, and upgrade signing and pavement markings to meet current standards. The drainage improvements include modifying swales to improve drainage. Slide 11. This is a depiction of the proposed milling and resurfacing of State Road A1A, Ocean Boulevard, the addition of the 5-foot bike lanes on each side of the roadway, and the location of the swale modification. Slide 12. Construction phases. Phase 1 involves regrading the swales and installing French drain aggregate to improve drainage. Phase 2A involves widening the southbound lanes of State Road A1A, South Ocean Boulevard, as well as milling and resurfacing them. Phase 2B includes widening the northbound lanes of State Road A1A, South Ocean Boulevard, and milling and resurfacing them as well. Slide 13. Traffic impacts. Work will occur in phases to minimize impacts to the public. Lane closures are allowed Monday through Sunday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. during active construction, and access to businesses and residences will be maintained at all times. Slide 14. Maintenance of traffic continued. Pedestrian detours will be in place and flagging operations will be used to direct traffic. No lane closures are permitted within 500 feet of the St. Lucie Catholic Church driveways between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Sundays. Slide 15. Safety is the department's top priority and is embedded in all that we do. Providing a safe and congestion-free travelway is of the utmost importance to the Florida Department of Transportation. To meet these goals, FDOT and our project partners will provide advanced warning signage throughout the corridor to alert motorists to the ongoing work. Additionally, we will continue to collaborate with our local partners, including local municipalities, schools, neighborhoods, PalmTran, and other local agencies to ensure safety standards are met and the impacts to the public are minimized. Our team will also be coordinating with emergency services to ensure access is provided at all times throughout each corridor. Slide 16. Community feedback is at the core of all we do. FDOT works with the public to balance their community vision with the community's transportation needs. This is routine on all our projects to ensure Florida's infrastructure is safe, resilient, and efficient for many years into the future. Project update flyers and emails will be distributed as needed, and all project updates will be posted to the District 4 website. To receive project-specific updates or to be added to my weekly press release distributed every Friday, please email me at mredling@corradino.com. You can also view the project updates at www.d4fdot.com. This page will include a link to lane closures, progress photos, and a recording of tonight's presentations. We will now move into the presentation's live question and answer portion. Good evening. Before we move into the live question and answer session, we would like to recognize any elected official who has joined us this evening. To introduce yourself, please raise your hand and I will unmute you, or you can type your name in the comments and I will introduce you. We'll just give a moment for any elected officials to introduce themselves or to raise their hands. Okay. All right, it doesn't look like we have any elected officials on the line with us tonight, so we can move ahead with our live question and answers portion. All comments and questions submitted through these options are part of the public record for this virtual meeting. To provide a comment, please submit the question or comment using the GoToWebinar webinar question panel, or raise your hand and I will unmute you. We can move on to our live slide. And if my project team would please turn on their cameras, we can start answering questions that have come in. All right, let's start with the first question. Will you be creating 2 turning lanes from northbound A1A onto Linton Boulevard? Brad, would you like to field that question?
Sure, Melissa. Yes, there will still be 1 turn lane after the project is completed, but we are extending that northbound left turn lane by several hundred feet to accommodate more vehicles in it, but it will still just be a single left turn.
Thank you. Will you be removing palm trees that line the northern part of A1A? Will they be replaced if you have to move them to widen the bike lanes? Brad, would you like to take that as well?
Sure. The project is aiming to relocate landscape whenever possible. There's a limited amount of tree removals that will be undertaken. For those specific trees, I could get back to the question if they had a specific tree area they wanted to ask about.
Mr. Oziski, do you have a specific location that you're asking about? I'm just seeing if I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you, Mr. Oziski. If you want to unmute yourself, you can follow up on that question if you have a specific location.
Yes, I was wondering about the 1900 and 2000 and 2100 block of South Ocean Boulevard, opposite sort of the Delray Beach Club. There's some beautiful, royal palms that line that stretch. I'd hate to see them get destroyed in this process. Did you hear that?
So between 1900 and 2100,
yeah,
the blocks. Yeah, sure. I could look into that and get back to you later in this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Melissa, I think you're muted for us.
Oh, thank you. I didn't want to interrupt. Before we move into the next written question, I do see I had a hand up for Deborah Brecker. I have unmuted you if you want to unmute yourself.
Hi, it's Debbie Brecker.
Brecker.
And along with that question about the palm trees, I'm concerned. I'm a former planning person in Pennsylvania, and I know a little bit about infiltration systems for drainage and percolation and that process. All the bushes that we have that have been planted along the east and west side of A1A, aren't they nearly as effective at draining? You say you're going to replant them. I'm at 2565 and 2575, but they are up and down the entire street. I would like a surety that these bushes will either stay and the drainage area that you're going to work at, the infiltration systems can be placed next to them, behind them, or that you're going to replace these bushes.
Brad or
Sure.
or Ramon?
So the bushes that are up against the roadway will be removed by the project. Those are not scheduled to be replanted. And some of that is for drainage reasons, that the drainage and soil percolation is improved without the bushes present there. Not to mention the bushes are right up against the shoulder and do impact the usability of the shoulder for bicyclists. And so yeah, the bushes will not be replaced.
Am I able to speak? I think that's really something that is so insensitive to this community, which is known for its palm trees and known for its greenery up and down the entire 3 1/3 miles. And I'm not even, you may say that those percolation infiltration systems will be better, but the bushes and the roots that hold these areas are really doing a good job in most rains. And I think it's a terrible, terrible idea just to remove them, put in these drainage systems, and forget that these bushes were ever there. And I know they are up close to the shoulder, and I know they are on both sides of the road. Couldn't you only be widening one side of the road for this project? Let's say it's the west side of the road. You can see I'm a little dissatisfied by the insensitivity to our town's beautification.
Sure.
And
So
to years and years of vegetation growth that really has, except for the worst of rains, they have made an enormous difference. And I know that because I've lived here 10 years, and before our bushes were planted, there was far worse flooding. Big disappointment.
So the shoulder widening is predominantly to the west side, like you mentioned, and the bushes that are not right up against the shoulder would be able to remain. It's just that section directly adjacent to the shoulder that presents the challenge.
If there is any way you can advise me, I'm really sensitive to the entire roadway, but my condominium again is 2565 and 2575. I would like to inform the board what they can expect from this really disappointing situation. I don't think you were thinking about the residents, the cost of having planted these bushes, having maintained them, and the effectiveness that they provided. I would like to know that these percolation systems, infiltration systems will do a better job. And unfortunately, they'll have to be installed before I can see for myself. Please let me know about my address if possible. I've left my email on my admit sheet.
Ms. Brecker, I completely understand your frustrations, and I'll be happy to set up a meeting with the board at your condominium association with the team at a later date. I will reach out to you on email and we can coordinate.
I look forward to it. Thank you very, very much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you for your question. Okay, we have follow-up. We have additional questions that were submitted in the chat. Let's see. How will it affect Del Harbor Drive if the left lane is extended? Is Ramon there? Would he like to field this question, or would Brad?
I could field that. I'll have to double check that location in the plans. I can get back to the question.
Okay, so we'll look into that, and Ms. Martin, we will respond to you directly.
Okay, actually,
Next
yeah, Melissa,
question.
I checked. That's the first street
Okay.
south of Linton. So that street will not be impacted. The extension of the turn lanes in Linton would stop north of Del Harbor Drive. So access in and out of that street would be the same as today.
So there'll be no impacts to Del Harbor Drive.
Correct.
Great. All right. I have another question. I live at Villa Magna 2727. Any idea what landscaping will be affected, both east and west side of the road? Annabelle, would you like to respond to that question?
We need to, we have to look at the plans to be able to see that address and make sure what area is that.
All right, why don't I give you a moment to look over the plans and we'll move
Yes,
on to the next question.
we have it over there, yeah.
Okay, that's 2727. And we'll go on to the next question and we'll come back to Mr. Adamian's question. If the bike lane is going to be wider, how close in some of the area will it come to the walking sidewalk? Are you moving the walking sidewalk?
Sure, I'll take that question, Melissa. Typically the shoulder is going to be about 2 to 4 feet closer to the sidewalk path. The majority of the sidewalk path would stay as it is today. There's limited locations where it would need to shift, but the vast majority of the project, the sidewalk path stays in the same location as it is today.
Okay, so the majority of the sidewalk path will remain in the same location, except for a few areas that may have to be shifted slightly. Okay, let's see. I understand you will be making 5-foot bike lanes, but how many feet will you actually be removing from both sides of the street to accomplish this? Brad, would you like to field that one?
Sure. So generally the shoulders are about 3 feet today. They're over the 3 miles. It kind of varies throughout the project, but so generally there's that 2 feet additional shoulder width that's being added to go from the 3 to 4 foot paved shoulder to the 5 feet.
So approximately 2 to 4 feet will be.
Yes, yeah, that's why I try to say typically 2 to 4 feet, but it does vary throughout the project limit somewhat.
Okay. All right, I have a hand raised. Christian Costa, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, and then we'll come back to the typed questions.
I'm a property manager here at 1225 South Ocean Boulevard. And I understand it was added to the project for the drainage on the north side of our building. I was just wondering how much landscaping is going to be affected when it's repaired for the drainage on the east side.
So at 1225, that
Yeah.
we will have to look at the project plans. Do you mind if we come back and after they've had a moment to look that up?
Okay.
Thank you. We'll be right back with you after Annabelle has responded to the previous question. I don't know if she's had a chance to find the location at 227. I'm sorry, 2727. I don't think she's still looking that up. Okay, let's go back. So we have Christian. Let me see if there's any other hands raised. I have Robert Patik. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Yes. Hello. I live at 4217 South Ocean Boulevard, and several few years ago, I did a DOT approved permitted French drain system where I ran the trench drains across both of my driveways and basically made my entire front yard a big French drain. And it absolutely works perfect. I used to have the biggest pond on A1A in front of my house every time it rained because there's a tremendous amount of water that comes down from my neighbor's driveway and also from my motor court. I also installed 3 trench drains and a French drain in the front yard of 4221, my neighbor. So between the two of them, while they work perfect, they're right at the edge of the bike lane now, and I cut the asphalt at exactly 5 feet from the white line. So I have 5 feet of bike lane in front of both our houses. That's another thing that I would hope DOT would do, because the overburden from numerous resurfacing projects is overwhelming. When I cut from the 5 foot back, when I cut and removed the asphalt, it was a foot thick, and I could have filled up 2 truckloads of excess asphalt. So what's happened is the grass has grown over that, and and there is more asphalt there than you think, because the grass is covering it up. But the problem is when the water comes to the edge of the road, why it can't percolate into the grass, because the grass is really stopping it, and there's still asphalt for another, in my case, as much as a foot further east. So to get good percolation, why DOT needs to run a concrete saw all the way down the side of at least the east side of the road and clear out all the excess asphalt before they do any rework with the swales or anything else. They probably wouldn't have to do that on the west side, because I understand that's where most of the widening is going to take place, or hopefully it's going to take place. So they could just extend it. But the east side, it would be a tremendous change in the percolation and the water on the road if you could just remove any of the excess asphalt. And I hope that my drainage system's not going to get destroyed, that I put a lot of time and effort into, because it really is saving this area from, the flooding. The problem with the bushes is that I've been in Highland Beach 26 years, and so people put out little spiked concrete cones and various things along the road, and reflectors and everything to keep people from driving up in their grass and running out the swales, and filled in the swales along the way, because the swales just hold water, and we can't keep the vehicles off of the swales, and so consequently why we have a constant rutted up town. So the alternative to it is people started putting out the ficus bushes along the edge of the road, and to stop people from doing that and stop having to repair their front yard. And we even have a problem where our police can't keep all 4 wheels on the pavement. So that's a big issue. When the pavement is widened, this project, that'll help some, because it'll give a little more pavement for vehicles like Amazon and the mail and UPS, what have you, to be able to pull over and maybe not pull into the grass so much. But I think 7 years ago, why the town did a study on the flooding. And one of the things that came up is that the ficus bushes were actually obstructing, the flow of the water off the road, and actually were a problem. And they were all put in illegally. It's something I'm sure DOT did not approve, and they're really all illegal. They looked all right. They looked nice. I wouldn't want to fall off a bike into them. I think you could put out an eye, or you get really seriously hurt, especially when they get larger and they're trimmed. But anyhow, what I had to say about it.
Yeah, so both the trench drain areas you installed, the 4217 and the 4221, will be preserved by the project, not impacted. And we have those called out in the plans to remain.
Great, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and as you noted, that is part of the reason for I guess one of the advantages of removing the hedges, also to obstructing that drainage flow coming off the roadway. And that is something we've seen in a lot of areas with the sod buildup, preventing water to get off the roadway.
Yes, yes, and it actually literally has grown over that excess asphalt. So when you really look at it, why these bike paths are much wider than they are, because in my case, I had a 6-foot wide bike path out here, and I cut about a foot off of it, to clean it up and make it straight. It's also very raggedy. It's not a straight line, that and the French drain took care of all the flooding issues I've had. I've never had a puddle standing out here since. But it is the only way to take care of our flooding issues along here, to do what I did. All the major driveways along here, it's not expensive to do, and make their front yard a big French drain, not just dig out the swale right beside the bike lane and put a little gravel down there and cover it over with dirt, because the cold water, people will drive into them, they'll rut them up. They'll plug up that kind of a French drain will plug up in a hurry when people are driving over it and pushing mud and dirt into it, and it's not going to work. And everybody's going to be putting hedges back along the road.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question that you might have that you would like us to answer?
That's it. I'm just want to keep what I have out here, and that'll be great. And I hope for the drainage, that we consider taking out all that excess asphalt that's on the east side, because it really is affecting the runoff and holding it from running off.
And this is at 4217 South Ocean Boulevard?
Yes, that's my house, and 4221, we have the drainage taken care of here, so we don't need any swale work.
All right, well, I've noted the locations, and I'll share that with the project team so they can look into the area, and they can review and address it as needed.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to go back and forth between hands raised and questions, and we're going to keep going. So hopefully anyone who has joined us for the 5:30, once we've made our way through all the questions, we will try, if we have time, we'll play the video again. If not, this will be available on the project website. Okay, so we have Kristen Costa. Did we get a chance to respond to your question yet?
No.
Okay, please go ahead and ask your question.
You said you were going to circle back regarding the flooding and the sod replacement in the
Is
front of
that at the 2727?
No, that's at 1225 South Ocean Boulevard.
1225, okay. What we're going to do when you have a specific question for your location, we're going to reach out to you directly after the meeting, and we'll send you an email. I have your email on file when you registered, so we'll be able to address your direct questions about your location. But if you have a question about the project overall, please let me know.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks so much. All right, going back to the written questions. Let's see.
Melissa, on 1225, I think that property address is north of Linton. Is that correct?
Is that correct?
Yes, I believe, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so this project, the northern limits ends at on the south side of Linton Boulevard. So there'd be no work on the north side of Linton Boulevard.
It was added to the additional road, that between 1225 and the Hamilton House next to us, that the drainage was going to be fixed for the flooding on the north side.
So there's another DOT project that runs from Linton to Atlantic that is going to be starting construction next year. So this section is just in from the town of Highland
South
Beach
of
limit
Linton.
to Linton. So maybe possibly in that project that discussion happened.
Okay, thank you.
Kristen, if you have my email, feel free to reach out to me and I can get you in touch with the design team to find out what kind of drainage work is going to be taking place at your residence.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, so we have let's see what else was coming. We did that one. There's several. Will there be personnel available to keep traffic moving on and off the Linton Bridge during this project? Let's see. Arian, would you like to field that question?
Yeah, we shouldn't have any project personnel on the Linton Bridge. That's what she asked.
Okay, so there'll be no project personnel.
No.
Addressing the traffic on Linton on the bridge. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Let's do one more written one. West side is where our 18 boat slips are located. Or will the boat slips be impacted at all on the west side?
Boat slips.
No impact to boat slips or any no water work as part of the project.
Okay. Well, okay, I've got, let's go back to a person. How about Gail Davis? Would you like to ask your question? I can unmute you.
Lo dejo. Okay. Apaga eso.
Gail Davis, I've unmuted you if you'd like to ask your question. You have to unmute yourself as well. There you go.
Okay. Where is the project going to start? Which end of A1A?
The project will start.
Field that question.
Yeah, it's gonna start from Linton, approximately Linton, and work its way south to Grand Court.
So it's going to begin on the north end of the project limits.
So it's going to be I'm the first building in Highland Beach from Spanish River, so it's going to be a long time till you get to me, correct?
Well, no, we don't want to say that. It's subject to the contractor, them choosing which direction they want to start in. So we still don't know that yet, but we could follow up with you and let you know once we receive the schedule.
Okay, thank you.
What I'll be doing is I'll be taking everyone's email address that has registered for this meeting and adding them to my project specific email blast. And we'll be sending out weekly emails letting you know where the project team is going to be the upcoming week. And we're also going to be trying to give you a heads up as to where they're going next. We can't dictate the contractor's work schedule, but we can share it once we have it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, back to the written question. Let's see. Will bicyclists be restricted from riding during the construction period? Annabelle, would you like to field that question? Will bicyclists be restricted from riding during the construction period?
No, this is Ramon. No, they will not.
Ramon,
They
you want
will-
to take it? Okay. I don't
Yes,
see you.
no.
I'm sorry. Can you turn the camera
okay.
towards you?
I will right now. Can you see me now?
I
Yeah,
can see you
all right.
now. Great.
Yeah, no, there will be no restriction for bikes. They will have to be directed just like we're gonna direct the traffic with the one lane closures.
So they'll have that, they'll be able to ride on the road for now, and they'll be riding along with traffic along the roadway.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. All right. Let's go to a person who has their hand up. Let me see. Robert Paytek.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't take it down.
Oh, it's okay. I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
All right. How about Susan Anstis? You just have to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. I'm just curious, was this the project that was voted down like a year ago?
Brad, would you like to field that question?
Wasn't there a vote?
No.
I could have sworn there was something. What am I thinking of?
Yeah, I'm not to my knowledge, there was no vote down of the project.
I remember something about the widening of the road and it was voted down. Okay. And then the last question is, how is this being paid for?
I can take that.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a Florida Department of Transportation resurfacing project. So it's funded by the state of Florida, DOT.
Uh-huh. Okay. Well, thank you for those answers. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, let's see. Making a left onto A1A out of Del Harbor Drive is treacherous now. How will we be able to get out? Ramon, would you like to field that question? Will there be any
Okay, making a left from where?
out of Del Harbor Drive? It's one of the,
You got the
I
plan?
would have to look in the plans right now, but
Yeah, just give us a minute.
give us a minute.
okay.
That's the location they asked about south. That's the first street south of Linton that we discussed previously. And there's no proposed changes in and out of Del Harbor Drive.
Okay, and Limpton.
I believe you're correct. We did cover a question earlier about Del Harbor. Let me see. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any modifications made there.
Se está por allá por acá, güey. Valentin, it was Linton.
Oh, Del Harbor
Yeah.
here. Make it a left.
Yeah, mute yourself.
Brad, there's a question that's directed to you while they're looking that up. They're asking, how do we get access to the latest cross sections?
Sure. Yeah, we'd be happy to provide those.
Okay, so we'll send a email directly to them.
Yeah, for the Del Harbor Drive, the one benefit of lengthening the turn lane from A1A onto Linton could be improved access for that street. Right now, the vehicles are backing up because the turn lane is not long enough. So that could be an improvement to the access for that side street.
Okay, so the access to A1A may be increased. Due to the intersection turn lane modifications. Okay. All right, I've got a hand up. Brenda Z Cage. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute you.
Hi, yes, my name is Brenda Chekai and I live at 2155. And rightfully so, none of you obviously live in this area, so you don't understand the questions because you keep answering them. People are in the stretch, and the question you just answered, the congestion right now to get out of our driveways or into our driveways and to get on or off of Lytton Bridge, depending on what's happening, can be 15 to 30 minutes. And that's not an exaggeration. That's our daily life. So what we're saying is, while the project is happening, not after it's over, while it is happening, what is going to be taking place as part of the project with flaggers or personnel so people can move, so we can get in and out of our homes, so we can get on and off the Lytton Bridge. That's the question I had asked written, and that's the question I'm now trying to express to you. These questions, people asking, how am I supposed to get out of my driveway? Is it later? It's now, during the project, when everything is backed up for who knows how long, because it's already 15 to 30 minutes. How are you guys going to allow traffic flow to happen? How many personnel are you going to have to assist in this to keep traffic moving?
Ramon, would you like to field that?
Yes. On this project, there is a limit on lane closure up to 2,000 feet. What we're going to try to do is, from day one, we're going to monitor the fact that the traffic could be backed up. So we will probably start with, this is what we'll suggest to the contractor, is to start closing lanes to 1,000 feet in order to mitigate for that backup traffic. So on a daily basis, we'll monitor the traffic and adjust the closure to try to.
But will you have personnel there to help people, like to wave people on and off the bridge when there's abilities to do that, or to help those poor people on the first street get in and out of their driveways because they're going to be blocked at all times for 14 months?
Well, we will have enough project personnel within the project limits. Contractors, they're not gonna perform any MOT or maintenance of traffic outside the project, if that's your question.
Right. So if you're saying it's 2,000 and you're going to try to limit it to 1,000, so within that 1,000, within that project area that day, there will be flaggers or people to assist in the movement of traffic.
That is correct. We will have flaggers, and they will control the traffic, and we will try to do our best to move the traffic as fast as we can.
What was your? No, are you addressing the traffic signal on the Lytton Bridge during this with people? because the traffic signal itself can hold up traffic because of all the walk stoppages that are automatically programmed. And if you had a human there when there's nobody to walk, you could keep flagging traffic and keeping it moving versus having the standard timing on the lights that we currently have at the end of the Linton Bridge.
Brad, you want to take this?
But yeah, I think she's asking for like a flagger control of the Linton signal.
Yes.
Well, are you also asking that the light at that intersection be modified to allow traffic to either flow quicker or slower to
Well,
give time
I
for
think
people
you
to
need a
move?
human. You know, the whole reason they
Yeah.
changed that traffic light about 3 years ago was to keep things moving when the bridge opens and closes, and to assist in that. But there is a lot of time where there's nothing happening and everybody's sitting still. And I understand why that was done, but during this project, you know, we need to do whatever we can to keep things moving as best possible. And I don't know how you do that with a set timer on a traffic light.
I think it's going to be situational, that the project team is going to need to monitor where the contractor is going to be performing the work and what impact it's going to be making on the traffic, and whether or not they can work with, I believe it's the county that controls the light at that
It is
bridge.
the
So
county. It is the
yeah,
county.
so they will
Yeah.
have to work with the county if there's a need to modify the light, but it's not within our project limits, so they do not have control over that light.
Is it within your project limits to have a human there to do it? To move the people versus the light?
No,
So-
our project limits are just south of Linton Boulevard to just north of Grand Court. That's where they're allowed to maintain traffic. But the project team is hearing what you have to say and understands completely. And it's something that we will take into consideration. We know that's a very busy strip. It's got a lot of high travel. And they want to make sure that they're going to keep the traffic moving as quickly as possible and mitigate any kind of impacts that are made from the construction.
Okay.
I appreciate you sharing that and bringing it to our attention. And I'm sure that's something that we will discuss at the first progress meeting.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. All right, let me go to. All right. How about, will you be removing palm trees that line the northern part of A1A? Will they be replaced if you have to move them to widen the bike lanes? I believe that we've addressed this one, Brad, that if they are to be removed.
Yeah, this section, I think the question was referring to 1900 to 2100, and those large royal palms, those are to remain. Those will not be impacted.
That's on the northern part.
Yes, if it's the same question from before about, they gave us that specific address and we looked at that and those are to remain.
Okay. Let me see if I can get any more that's on writing and then we'll go back to an audio. Okay. Where does an extra width of bike lanes come from? Brad mentioned mainly the west side and that the bike lanes will be widened. Is that true?
Yes, that additional area is coming from the swale today.
Everything's going to be shifted. Is that what you're
Correct.
saying? Okay. All right, let's go to a person that has their hands raised. How about Jean-Luc Andriot? I apologize for pronunciation. I'm going ahead. You're open now.
It's okay. I'm sorry I arrived a bit late. I could not open the webinar sooner. You might have answered that question on behalf of a friend that lives in the Clarendon. And he wanted to know what's going to be the length of this project in time. And obviously, if it's going to be, sorry, if it's going to be separated, I mean, if the project is going to be, people are going to be able to drive from the Clarendon to north and then to south, or is that going to be a plug all along the A1A?
It's a question for the project length.
Yes.
It was a little hard to hear.
Yeah.
The project duration.
Yes, the duration, yes. More and less, I mean, just to have an idea.
Ariam or Ramon, the project duration?
Yeah, the person I'm looking for is not, is a snowbird, if I may say, and live in a different country. So he wants to know if he's going to come over or not.
The project length is 253 days.
I'm sorry?
The length of the project is approximately 200, is it 300 or 200?
353.
Yeah. So it's going to be close to a year, 353 days.
And that does not take into consideration weather, holidays, and any unforeseen circumstances.
Correct.
That's correct.
And will it be from Lincoln to Spanish River?
Mhm. Yeah.
All of the 300 days?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
The project limits. It's about 3.2 miles.
Okay, all right, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to go to Michael Owen online, if you'd like to unmute yourself.
Yes. How far west is the road, the edge of the road going to move? Do you have a cross section that shows where it is now and where it will be that you could share?
Sure, yeah, we'd be happy to share that.
Yes, we can send that to you directly on email if you'd like.
Okay, and that would be roughly how many feet at the 2150 area?
Give us 1 minute to look at that specific spot and we'll get back to you for that.
Actually, we're gonna, any of these specific locations, we'll respond to you directly after the meeting. We have a number of attendees that are looking for questions, answers to questions as well. So I'm making a list of all those that need to have direct responses. So we'll be in touch with you directly, Mr. Owen.
Would that be tonight or tomorrow or when?
Between today and tomorrow, no later than tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he asking for the widening? How far the road is going to be widened towards the? He mentioned the west side.
On 2150, yeah.
Yeah, the widening varies in between 0 and 8 feet, but you could consider approximately 5 feet to be the average.
Okay. And the cross sections you said would show me exactly what that would be. Thank you very much.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Owen. All right, let me see. Mr. Elliott, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you.
Mute.
Mr. Elliott, I've unmuted you.
Question. I'm confused. I live at 2200 South Ocean. And the sidewalks stay the same width. The palm trees are out there. And you're going to widen the road. There isn't 5 feet between the road and the palm trees. So how does this all work? I don't get it. You know, Mr. Earl was next door to me, and I know Mike, and he's using fancy terms. I'm just using practical terms. How does the sidewalk stay the same? How do the trees stay the same? You can't do anything across the street because of the elevations of the driveways. So here we are. How are you going to get the extra width without cutting down the trees about narrowing the sidewalk. I don't understand.
Brad, would you like to field that one?
Yeah, so you said you're at 2200?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll show you our plans in that specific area, get back with you after the meeting.
Okay, that's fine, because I may not understand what you send me, but I'll find you.
No, yeah, or meet in the field if needed, whatever it would take we'll show you that area.
Can I make a suggestion that maybe FDOT should reach out to every condo community that is going to be affected by this and say, hey, do you want to have a presentation about what's going to happen to your property? In front of your property, so everybody understands what is going on. And I know there's a lot of condo communities, but there's a lot of people and there's a lot of traffic. And I just think maybe some one-on-one from FDOT would be, I know it's a burden on you folks, but somehow I just think there's a need for understanding. And I would guess that half my neighbors don't even know what's going to be going on until they try to go out of the driveway and they find one lane of traffic. And, we have the Linton problems. Some days Linton, I'm 0.4 of a mile south of Linton. Some days it's back a mile. And what does this do? Sometimes, that lady was complaining about 30 minutes and she's closer. I just think there has to be some outreach on a one-to-one basis, condo by condo. I know you're busy and whatever, but this is a big deal. You're going to be working right through busy season. Can't the project be stopped during busy season? I don't know. I just think you have to think through, come live with us for a while. I've got a spare bedroom. Come put up with the crap. So I'm sorry. I'm speaking. I'm just speaking kind of off the top of my head, but I think there's an awful lot that has to be communicated and learned. And thank God, I got this little brochure about this meeting tonight. I appreciate you doing it, but you're raising more questions than you're answering.
Mr. Elliott, I completely understand your concern, and I'm in charge of reaching out to all of the associations, and we have sent out this information flyer to a couple thousand addresses along the corridor, pretty much from just north of Linton to south of Grand Court. And we are looking to connect with the HOAs and the condominium associations, and we're happy to come out and meet with any association that would like us to come. It's not beyond our reach. But that has to be expressed by we have to be able to connect. And that's what I'm making the best effort to do, is to try to connect with them. So we are on a daily basis trying to reach out to these associations to make sure that they have all the information and whether or not they want us to come and make a presentation. And we're always available for any questions. If you know of anyone that doesn't know about this meeting or doesn't have my information, please share it with them, and I'll be happy to convey any information possible. We are trying to communicate as effectively as we can with the community. With that said, we are at the 6 o'clock. We're past 6 o'clock. We do have a in-person open house that is taking place at the Highland Beach Community Center. If you're in the area and you didn't have your questions answered, please feel free to go there. The team will be there from 6 to 7, and they will have project plans. They'll have the cross sections. They'll be able to answer any question that you may have. We're going to go ahead and finish this up. Please feel free. Any questions that were not answered in the chat will be responded to directly on email. And we look forward to seeing you in person. So right now we're going to go ahead and finish the presentation, and our project team is going to meet with the public And again, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and please feel free to reach out to me at any time. Go ahead, and we can move forward with the next slide. All right, project team, you can turn off your cameras and your microphones. All right, slide 19. Serving communities is at the center of all we do. FDOT works with the public to balance their community vision with the community's transportation needs. This is routine on all our projects to ensure Florida's infrastructure is safe, resilient, and efficient for many years into the future. If you have questions or comments throughout the project, please submit them by email or phone to me at mredling@coradino.com, or you can reach me at 772-577-8803, or you can reach out to our project administrator, Annabelle Espinosa, and she can be reached at aespinosa@americanaenggroup.com at 305-546-8065. Or you can reach our FDOT project manager, Ariam Galindo, at ariam.galindo@dot.state.fl.us, or you can reach them at 561-466-5940. Please note this PowerPoint presentation has been uploaded to GoToWebinar for download. Okay. Slide 20, the FDOT safety message. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration tells you to be responsible and have a plan. Your life and the lives of others on the road are at risk. Every time a driver gets behind the wheel after drinking, here are a few tips to stay safe. Before drinking, choose a designated driver or schedule a ride-sharing, ride-hailing, or taxi service. If you are hosting a party where there's alcohol, offer non-alcoholic drink options and make sure all guests leave with a sober driver. Always wear your seatbelt. It's the best defense against drunk drivers. If you see a drunk driver on the road, safely pull over and call law enforcement. Slide 21. Thank you for attending tonight's virtual public meeting. We appreciate the time that you have spent with us, and we are now moving into our live in-person public meeting at Highland Beach Community Center.